The trip went east. They said I should follow the river and turn right around the mountain, and I would get to the city. We flew from the city and down along the river. I took it upon myself to sit and squint to look out into the horizon. I had otherwise decided that I would just give up and we could settle down somewhere here, so we wouldn't have to worry about how to get to a portal and find the end and a new crystal with all that goes with it. Instead, I just wanted to say enough is enough and find a place to start over. I think what I was mostly looking for were materials I could build with, so I had something to start with. Timmy was otherwise very insistent that we should find a home. I think maybe it was because he had never had chocolate, and after I talked about it, it was his life's goal to get his hands on it. After some time, we came to a village, so I steered the airship towards the village center. I thought that would be where I could get the most information about the doctor and where we were. I found someone I could talk to, and luckily it was one of the leading residents of the town I spoke to. I explained to him that we had just come from a town to the west and that they had had some problems with some zombies, so there weren't many left in the town. He promised that they would send an expedition with food and tools for them, and if there were some who wanted to move out there, that was also possible. He showed me the way to the doctor. When I got to the doctor's office, I was greeted by a sign that said, "The clinic is closed." Someone told me that the doctor and his family had passed away last week. They had contracted some disease that even the doctor didn't know about. I asked if he knew where there was another doctor. He pointed to the north and said that River Gual had one, and then he left. Everything in my body started to rush away. The blood pumped faster, and I became completely warm in my body. We were at home, admittedly not in my own house, but in the right world. Now I just had to get Timmy to a doctor so he could walk again, and then we had to go home to Noxdonia. I could hardly wait to get going, but it was time to get some food, and then I had to tell Timmy that we were actually in the right world. Maybe there was an opportunity to find Amelia Blockport, so I could thank her in person now that we were going to River Gual, where she is from anyway. While we were flying, I explained to Timmy that the doctor was not there, but that we were going to another city where there was a doctor, and that we were in the right world. So now we just had to find my home, and then we would take it from there. We set off again, this time towards a town I knew and an area I've been to before. I could hardly wait. River Gual, I have a summer mansion there, and it was always ready to receive me when I came by. And there would be an opportunity to have a doctor look at Timmy's leg. I could hardly believe it. I had almost given up. My head was on overtime. All my thoughts raced around in there. Now I could get home, and I could get Lord Kilroy under control so that he could be held responsible for all the trouble he had made. I had understood from the books Blockport had written that he was not particularly well liked. And what about Queen Morgana and King Errolwyn of Trelonia? She hadn't written anything about her. I could feel that I had many more questions than I had answers to. Even Timmy asked if something was bothering me. He thought I was very quiet. I tried to explain to him what I was thinking, but he didn't really understand it since he wasn't from this world. But he said that no matter what, he was behind me and was ready to help. That is, when his legs had recovered. I could feel a kind of liberation as we got closer to the city. It was a bit like a burden had been lifted from my shoulders. I could see one of the city's towers and the train track winding around it. Now I just had to land, and then we would be able to get the help we needed. After I got Timmy off the airship and down the stairs to a room where he could be while his leg got better. While we were waiting for the doctor to look at Timmy's leg, I wanted to go for a walk in town. But the people did not seem happy to see me. They approached as if they had seen a ghost. I stopped one of the villagers and asked him what was going on. He looked at me and said they all thought I was dead, and it was a bit strange to see me walking around the streets. I looked at him and assured him that I was definitely not dead and just on a very long journey, but that I was actually looking for someone named Amelia Blockport. He looked at me again and said she lived down by the field. So I went down towards the field. No one was at her house. But there was a book. She was good at writing, so maybe it said something about where she was and if she came back at some point.
It took me 3 days to come home after coming back from the other world. The crystal almost worked. I wasn't quite home when I woke up, but I found a waystone and took it the rest of the way. Unfortunately, there was no luck with my expedition. Lord M82 is still missing, and I don't know if he will ever come home. It is good to be at home, but I had hoped it would be for other reasons. Lord Kilroy is, to put it mildly, a pain in the ass. I have been asked to help a Mr. F. No Tail with a power plant, and then I have to help a Mr. Beardstone with some excavation at an amusement park.